As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I thought that we didn't believe of this minister and the government. People that says our money will be
As always said, there are two sets of people.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actors to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the stories. First, Rivers Crisis. Fubara presents 2025 budget to Okojombo-led assembly. On Rivers Crisis, group cautions orderly over comment against Wike. And then on to Ebonyi State, Wifro attends Labour Party lawmakers event. On tax reform, presidency blasts Bala over remarks on Tinubu. On politics, Kwakwanso laments Yusuf is being misled by detractors. We are open for advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
Oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I call for critical belief of this minister and the deputy president.
Give us access to our money we I've always said there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I call for critical belief of this minister and the deputy president.
Give us access to our money I've always said there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I call for critical belief of this minister and the deputy president.
Give us access to our money I've always said there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I call for critical belief of this minister and the deputy president.
Give us access to our money I've always said there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I call for critical belief of this minister and the deputy president.
Give us access to our money
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is a regular on Open Conversation. He prides himself as advocate of the masses, and that is none other but Nze. Nze. Nze, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Laurentia. Merry Christmas in arrears.
Thank
and
you.
Happy prosperous New Year in advance.
Thank you so much.
Good
I wish
morning,
you the same,
Nigerians.
Nze. I wish
Thank
you the same.
Thank you.
And on to the story. River State Governor Sasimilaye Fubara has presented the 2025 fiscal year budget to a faction of the State House of Assembly, led by Right Honorable Victor Okojumbo. The proposed 2025 budget, tagged Budget of Inclusive Growth and Development, is 300 billion naira higher than the 2024 budget, which was 800 billion naira. The governor said that the budget is premised on achieving sustainable economic growth, accelerating the development of the state, and improving the living standards of the people. He said the total projected revenue for Rivers State for the 2025 fiscal year is 1,888,962,739,932 naira 60 kobo. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the 2025 budget is premised on achieving sustainable economic growth, accelerating the development of the state, and improving the living standards of our people. Therefore, it contains policy measures and objectives that will strengthen our capacity to weather possible external shocks from the volatility of the national economy, to build the resilience of our economy and advance our collective development and prosperity. He continues to say, it is for this reason that we have the theme for the 2025 budget as a budget of inclusive growth and development. Nze, what do you make of this story?
Budget of inclusive growth and development. Fantastic. I pick my point from the inclusivity of this budget, which I believe it is a budget that will have to link up the government and the people. The inclusive growth is the growth of the Rivers State government, the growth of Rivers economy, the growth of Rivers manpower, the growth of Rivers citizen, all inclusive in one. I commend the governor for the bold step he has taken to present that budget. You know, some time ago when we discussed about this, we were looking at the governor's body language that, you know, he was waiting for the Supreme Court judgment as to know where to pitch his tent. But at this point, I believe that those of them who are standing up the hill there, at the top of the hill, will have a brighter view of the landscape than us who are down here. So whatever it is, I believe that the bold step he has taken to present this budget is one too many. That is adding to his progressive moves, which he has been making.
Bold step taken to present budget. Budget is the presentation of budget is the responsibility of any government.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a bold step.
No, it is a bold step.
It is a prerequisite.
Yes, in the sense, bold step in the sense that there are issues surrounding the presentation of the, you know, the 2024 budget was presented to a DCNA here, four-man committee, or former members of the Rivers State House of Assembly as at then. And you see that a lot of people criticize that, which is still a subject of litigation till now. And we are awaiting the judgment of Supreme Court as regards to that litigation. But for him now to also, you know, make bold to present it to Victor Okojumbo, present 2025 budget to Victor Okojumbo, to me, it's a bold step. Yeah, it's a bold step.
Taken in the right or wrong direction?
To me, taken in the right direction, because you can't stall the government. You can't stall the government. Government must continue. It's a continuum. So there is no how you can hold Rivers people to ransom. And there is something about this that I want to make clear here on national television, that the governor who presented the 2024 budget to Edison here, which is still a subject of a debate to many till now, had come to give a down-to-earth analysis of how the budget was spent and what was left over. And for the first time, we are seeing a governor coming to tell us that after expenses, that the River State government still have about 100 billion naira to save after all the expenses, which means that there is in fact, the governor had utilized that budget of 2024, and now he has presented that of 2025. We are still believing that better things are yet to come out of it, or better things will come out of it, based on the fact that though the precedence he has set in 2024, we believe that he will improve in 2025. But knowing from the angle that we see things in Nigeria, yes, there will be more legal tussle to this. And since we do not know what Supreme Court will be coming up with, yes, in judgment, it can be for you, it can be against you. We know that. But should the judgment come against the River State government in favor of the erstwhile Speaker of the House, Martin Samuel Hule. When we would, after that, I believe that another litigation will come up, another case will come up, and that will be the case of his seat being declared vacant, which they will still continue to battle. But there is something I want to say here, which you don't like hearing, and that is the God inclusivity in the issues of political crisis in Rivers State. God's inclusiveness, rather, in political issues in Rivers State. I see God playing a role in everything that happened here. Because while we make up this fight, many of us do not know that Governor Sim Fubara will last till March 2024, when this fight began. Considering what we know about the political bigwig of Rivers State, the FCT minister, whom I believe he was fighting directly against. And not even the issue of Martin Samuel and all that. And I think we saw it on Sunday when Martins was having his Thanksgiving. He said that he was made speaker not by the vote of the people. He was made a member of House of Assembly not by the vote of the people, but by the appointment of FCT minister. Now, you see that it is from that angle we believe that it is not their fight, rather it is the FCT minister's fight.
It is also on record that Similaye Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, was also made the governor of Rivers State
by the same man
strategy of Wike. So you,
and not by the vote of the people.
Hold on. Regardless of, however, when you are speaking holistically, so let's bring both parties. But then, before I move over to my next question, you did something that caused a little bit of back and forth between us in the last show. And you did it again today, and I'm still going to correct you. Because
I believe that you have repented, having gone through the issues discussed in the past show we had here.
You want us to do that again?
No, you don't do that. This is New Year.
However,
please, I want to enter the New Year with a fresh body, please. You spare me that.
However, when you were speaking, you made mention that Martin Samuel, you called him the erstwhile speaker. Now, as far as we know in Rivers State, Martin Samuel is the Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, as upheld by 2 appeal court judgments. And until there is a judgment coming from a higher court, setting that judgment aside, I would implore you to respect the judgment of the appeal court, even though you do not agree with it. It is okay to call them a faction of the assembly. It's okay to call Okojombo a faction of the assembly. However, it is very, very important that you understand that they are still Rivers State House of Assembly. And we have to respect that, please. So calling them erstwhile, it's misinforming. Because as you sit here speaking, Nze, you are an opinion molder. People listen to you. A lot of persons do not even know what is going on in Rivers State. What they hear is what is being, peddled around. But on Open Conversation, we are a Rivers State-based television. And we give things as they are. In fact, if you watch Open Conversation consistently, you can discuss Rivers State matters as if you live in Rivers State. Because what is going on here is the opinion of stakeholders, members of different parties, of different factions, and I respect that. But even as you have your position, let's say things as they are so that we don't misinform people. I hope I put it in a manner that is more acceptable to you.
You see how Christian you look this morning. I just thank God for. I think by 12 midnight today we will bid goodbye to 2024. And just look at how. Oh, thank God! I wish New Year Eve we continue after today. I thank you for that anyway, for that analysis. But the fact remains. It wasn't
an analysis.
No, you put things clear. You pointed things out.
Clarification.
Yeah, but look at it. You know why sometimes when we come to speak, we speak from a point of view that we hold, not a point of view that another hold.
It is
and,
not.
and when we
this
when we
is
come
not
to
the
issues,
point of view of
like
another.
you know, yesterday before yesterday, when
Yes.
when Martins was speaking, he was still addressing himself as the speaker.
He is the Speaker of Rivers State House of
No
Assembly.
doubt. No, but I didn't go to slap him. I didn't go to say, hey, I didn't go to remove my phone.
Nze, please.
He was,
Nze, please, hold
as
on.
he said.
No. Nze, hold on. Martins Amehule, according to the judgment of Justice Omotosho, according to the judgment of the First Appeal Court, and according to the judgment of the Second Appeal Court in October, remains the Speaker.
And that judgment has been appealed.
Nze,
you are aware?
Nze. Appealing, the act of appealing a judgment does not translate to stay of execution.
Yeah.
Let's get that clear. Let's get that. See, there are fundamentals to hold on. There are fundamentals to these things we need to get clear, right? Now, you have said it on this show severally, and I respect that. You are of the position that, as far as you are concerned, Okojombo-led faction remains the authentic faction.
That's my stand.
That is your stand. Nobody's arguing that. However, it becomes a problem on this show when you come and set aside a fact. You understand? And present it and present your emotion over a fact. Your emotions and your sentiments on an issue, well respected.
Does it really
it is freedom of
emotion
issue.
here?
Yes.
Really?
You can, yes, because that is what you're doing. The fact on ground is that there is an appeal court judgment.
Which I'm
And
aware
as
of.
it stands,
Which I'm fully aware of.
as it stands, there is no higher court that has said otherwise. So regardless of how you feel about the appeal court judgment, regardless of how anybody feels about the appeal court judgment, there is what we call respect to the Constitution and the rule of law. So even though you don't like it, you must abide by it until it is set aside.
So he remains the
now,
factional speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, isn't it?
I can assure you that if the Supreme Court judgment comes up today and it is against Martin Samebule, Atlantic Television Network will immediately align to the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Good,
what you will
good.
see on our television
Good.
is the ex-speaker. But until that happens, you see why
Okay.
we cannot be emotional about
We
it.
wait for it. We wait for it.
Thank
So
you.
for now, we
for it.
address him as factional speaker.
My point is, you can't call him an ex.
Yeah,
speaker.
we address
That
him
is
as
misinforming.
factional speaker.
That is misinforming.
Good.
Just like Okojombo is also a factional speaker.
factional speaker,
So
yeah.
let's have that clarity, and then we can have this conversation amicably.
Good.
Right? Because my
Good.
own is to make sure that people are not misinformed.
Good.
Is that
Good.
fair enough for
Good.
you?
Yeah.
Now, having taken this long time, to clarify that
In such amicable manner.
I must.
I'm just looking at you today. It's like Jesus Christ touched you during Christmas.
I must actually applaud the fact that you're not being too uptight and defensive today. That's a big applause. Now, moving on to Fubara presenting the budget, I am looking at the legitimacy of this action, right? Like you have said, I like the fact that you periscoped on all that when you are making your analysis. Yes, the budget is right now we run full fiscal year, that is January to December.
Yeah.
And I was actually very worried about the governor not presenting the 2025 budget, considering that there was no extension of the 2024 budget, and also considering that the 2024 budget, according to the judgment of the court, is non-existent in Rivers State. And the issue in the first instance was the fact that the governor presented the budget to this same House of Assembly faction, even though at that time it was headed by Edison here. Now it is now Okojombo. At that time, understand that the contention again was it was a 4-man House of Assembly. Now it has even reduced to a 3-man faction, right? And the governor still goes ahead to present this budget. Now, again, it would have also been different if there has been no judgment at all whatsoever. But there has been a judgment that said the governor cannot present. In fact, what the court called them, you know, the Edisnehe faction, led House of Assembly then, well, the court called them a forum of friends. That was not a legislative it was not a plenary in the first instance. So the court did not even recognize them in the capacity of being lawmakers to exercise that right. You understand? And the governor is still towing the same path.
Yeah, you see, I like it sometimes when things happen differently. You know, in the quest of finding the reality, you can double into several things. We saw that a high court, a River State High Court, authenticated the speakership of Edison here when they parted way with Amoyhule's led faction.
Yes, go ahead.
And it was on that basis that the governor presented the budget to him. And along the line, several courts have given a different order in regard to that, which number one was that Martin Samuel was the authentic speaker. Number two was that the presentation of the budget to Edison here was a flaw, that Edison here's faction was not a House of Assembly, but rather a forum of friends. And also that as far as the law, the court was concerned, that the budget of River State in 2024 was null and void. And but the governor has stream of legal luminaries, those who read the law, who interpret the law, those who have foresight into the judiciary and things like that. So when I speak, I speak as a layman, but I speak as a citizen who has right. Because if I have right to vote for somebody, it means I have right over that person's office, over the office that the person occupies, to ask questions. So when I speak from this angle, I recognize and respect the fact that court has given these judgments, but we are taking our actions, some of the actions of the governor from the past presidencies, which we've seen in Nigeria, that yes, the High Court, Federal High Court Abuja had given judgment. Appeal court in Abuja has also given judgment, and the matter has been appealed.
Another appeal court in River State.
Another appeal court also gave judgment, but the matter has been appealed to Supreme Court. And we see that in this same state, there was something that happened, which I would like us to bring back to our memory. There was a governor who contested the election, and the election was taken to tribunal. In the tribunal, he was faulted, but already he has been sworn in. So the judgment in tribunal was against him. He didn't quit office. He kept sitting as the governor and went to High Court, to appeal court. And the appeal court also was against him. The judgment was against him. And he remained as a governor, serving as a governor, carrying out his full duty with nothing missing. And he went to Supreme Court.
Are you aware if stay of execution was gotten against the judgments or not?
Well, I may not, but you see, in the case of River State Appeal Court, that River State government wanted to obtain a stay of execution, and the judge refused, which I consider a kind of trampling on the fundamental right of the government. The judge refused granting stay of execution.
The judge can either refuse,
yes,
or grant it. So refusal doesn't mean it's trampling.
But it is applicable. It is applicable that it be granted. Because look, I am saying, look, let me come from this angle. Let me come from this angle. You are I mean in legal tussle with you, and a judgment was given against me, and I'm not satisfied. There is a window left for me to appeal that case, and I come to our judge, your judge and my judge, to say, Madam or Sir, my lordship, I want to obtain a stay of execution because I want to go further. In as much as the judge cannot stop me from appealing, he should be able to allow me that stay of execution.
It's not compulsory.
Well, it's not compulsory.
It is at the discretion of the judge.
Well, I think those who are within the chambers, within the bar, they will be able to interpret that.
It is at the discretion of the judge.
Yes, it is at the discretion of the judge, as you said. But let those who understand the judgment, the law, and the rest and the proceedings of court, let them interpret it as it has gone to the Supreme Court. But for the governor, he said that I demand that I be given stay of execution on this judgment so that I can exhaust my fundamental right as a citizen of Nigeria and as a sitting government. But you see that some of the judgments that were given against Rivers State then were too harsh. That's why I said that the discretion of the judge made him look a bit biased in my own eyes. Because for you to give a judgment that the allocation of a state such as Rivers State be seized, for what?
Now we are not hold on Nze, so that we don't deflect into another matter. We are not discussing the allocation.
No, we are not going there, but we just have to touch it in passing.
We are discussing the
budget and its
presentation of the
presentation.
budget and the legality, behind the presentation of this budget. Now let's look at the law. What the law provides, when it comes to certain legislative functions and acts of the State House of Assembly. Now, the State House of Assembly shall at no time have a minimum of 24 seats, and it shall not exceed 40. And 40 is in the case of Kano State. I think that's the state with the highest number of House of Assembly members. Well, in Rivers State, we have 32, correct? We have 32 seats. Now, the law also says, because this discussion will not be around 32, not around 27 or around the 3, but what is in Rivers State, which is 32 seats. Now, the law says that you cannot, there are certain things like the presentation of the appropriation bill. It has to be by 2/3 majority, not even 1/3 majority. Let me take you back to Supreme Court's judgment. Let's use it as a precedence to this conversation in the matter of Joshua Dariye, when he was impeached by, I think, 8 members of the House, because the House of Assembly then had issues. So 8 members were the ones that impeached Joshua Dariye. When the matter went to court, Supreme Court gave judgment. And Supreme Court says that they do not form a quorum to legislate on that impeachment. And the Supreme Court went further to say, are they legitimate House of Assembly members? Yes, they are. Can they hold plenaries? Of course they can hold plenaries. The Supreme Court says they can hold plenaries. However, when it comes to legislation that has to do with 1/3 or has to do with 2/3 majority, if they do not meet up to that particular quorum, they cannot legislate on that matter. What it means, let's take it down to Rivers State, and the House of Assembly member that is factionalized. In this instance, Okojombo, because you recognize them as a faction of Rivers State House of Assembly. Now, they are 3. They are not even up to 24. Right? Now, what is 1/3 of 32? What is 2/3 of 32? They do not even form a quorum of 1/3. Even a quorum of 1/3 in this instance, can they legislate on appropriation bill? They do not even form that quorum that is constitutionally given for legislations like this to hold. So let us take away sentiments and take away stay of execution, no stay of execution, court judgment. Let's keep aside court judgment and look at what the Constitution provides. Good. Do you think that Okojombo, they formed a quorum to legislate over the appropriation bill?
Good. We try to remove sympathy from this.
Yes.
And we deal with issues the way we think. Remember, I may not be in position to give accurate and best analysis on this, but I will speak from my angle as a layman when it comes to issues of law. Yes, I will have to speak from that angle. And I beg that I be understood from my point of view.
Whenever you put a caveat like this, you're about to say something that's not acceptable.
I won't do that. I won't do that. By God's grace. I just pray that you accept me the way I am. you know, not trying to make me look, you know, I'm not fair, I'm not dark.
You know that,
so,
you know that these things
you don't apply.
These things you do don't work with me.
No,
but still go ahead.
Let's go. Let's go by God's grace. When we talk about Victor Oko-led assembly and their number, saying that they didn't even meet up to 1/3 requirement is being sympathetic. Yes, if the law has said 2/3, it has to be stamped on 2/3, and 2/3 of 32 is 19. Yeah. Is it 19 or 20? 2/3 of 19 or 32 should be either 19 or 20. But however, we put that.
It can be 19, it's above 19.
Yeah, 2021. 2021, depending on the sharing formula. Yes, 2021. Now, but we look at it, they are just 3. And I know that in law, there is often what they consider as doctrine of necessity. I know. I may not explain it in details, but if at this point, the government of Rivers State, knowing fully well that at this point they are at a point where they need to enforce doctrine of necessity, and that has been put in place, and it has worked as
how was it put in place?
Yeah, because the Rivers State High Court had to authenticate the speakership of Edisine here. I believe that the court as
which
a
Rivers State High Court authenticated?
Was it not the court of what is his name? You know, because of so much court cases and names of judges and all that. Is it Wale, Justice Wale or something like that? You know, if I may remember.
Justice Wale is the person that gave an order to vacate the seats of Martins and Mewule, the 27 lawmakers, and also authenticated and also said that Okojumbo is the authentic Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly.
Okay.
It was Justice Wale that did that.
All right.
And the matter was appealed.
It was appealed
and it was vacated.
It was vacated.
And not just vacated, the appeal court said that everything, every order that Justice Wale made is null and void. And the appeal court also said every legislative activities conducted by Okojumbo is also null and void.
There is something I want to call to our mind here. That's why I said that we should try as much as possible to remove sympathy from our discussion this morning. You remember that after all this brouhaha, the Federal High Court at some point said that Rivers State High Court does not have jurisdiction to look into all these matters. You remember? But at some point, a higher court had to, was it a high court or a kind of, I think a panel had to question that and fault it and said that Rivers State matters should be discussed in Rivers State.
Let me correct you.
Okay.
Now, when the appeal court, the first appeal court judgment came, one of the things they said when they were making a nonsense of everything that Justice Wale had done was that they said that yes, the Federal High Court and State High Court are sister courts of equal jurisdiction. However, the Federal High Court has its exclusive jurisdiction. And they went ahead to say in matters pertaining to federal institutions, in matters pertaining to the state governor, the matters pertaining to the state houses of assembly, you know, that the Federal High Court has exclusive reserve, that's the word, exclusive reserve of cases like this.
That it cannot be handled by state high courts.
Yes, and that was why they said Justice Wale did not have the jurisdiction. However, what you're talking about is in the consolidated appeals, one of the judgments that came from the consolidated appeal by the appeal court. Now, when the appeal court was giving judgment with regards to the FAC allocation barring Central Bank of Nigeria from paying state allocations to
Rivers State. Yes.
Now, they were saying that it is not, in this instance, it is the state item, the state budgets. Do you understand? It is not, this one is not the River State House of Assembly. However, the concerns, like the lawyers were saying, was that the matter was targeted at Central Bank of Nigeria, which was a federal institution, and that was why they had to go to Federal High Court. So they are two different things. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So the appeal court is saying that the Federal High Court does not have the right to legislate over the state budgets. We are not talking of, but in this instance, the tussle here is declaring the speakership of Martin Samehule vacant and declaring Okojombo the speaker. Now, this is River State, a State House of Assembly matter, and the appeal court is saying that the State High Court cannot, the State House, the governors. You understand? So I hope you understand the difference between.
Yeah.
There are two different prayers.
I follow you.
They are not the same at all.
I follow you on that.
Right,
Do you know one thing about judicial struggle is that this judge will give judgment based on maybe his feelings, and another will give based on his feelings, yet quoting the same law. And it look like what we see in preaching messages. You know, you see a certain pastor quote a particular scripture and read from it and begin to give exegesis on it. And another one will come, quote the same scripture, begin to give a different exegesis from it. All these things are based on the environment the person is coming from. There is always a premise upon which...
What is important? We are not x-raying the activities of the judiciary in this instance. We are looking at the presentation of the budget and the legality around it. Now, I have told you that the Constitution provides, can a three-man legislate for the entirety of River State? In this instance, only 3 constituencies sat to legislate for 32 constituencies. 32 constituents. Constituents divided into 32 seats. Only 2. So who is deciding whether my constituents, you know, they are fairly represented? Whether they are fairly represented in these budgets or not. So one could say that the rights of, you know, about 19 constituents or 19 constituencies have been denied by this singular action.
No, much more than 19.
You have spoken of doctrine of necessity. The issue around doctrine of necessity started with Yaradua being sick, I think in 2010, and Goodluck Jonathan taking over. It is different. In this instance, there is a judgment of court. There is a judgment of the High Court and 2 judgments from appeal court that have, you know, affirmed Martin Samehule and said, governor, this is your House of Assembly member. You will govern with these people as the House of Assembly member. You can talk to me about doctrine of necessity when there is nothing in the Constitution that provides for a particular exigency. The Constitution is clear about presentation of budget. The Constitution is clear about plenary. The Constitution is clear about quorums in legislations by houses of assembly. The Constitution is clear. And then there is a judgment. You cannot say, Nze, that the governor had to invoke the doctrine of necessity. He has a house of assembly given by court judgment. The governor has a house of assembly. However, you recall that he said to himself, he didn't say to himself. He said, when he was hosting Ijaw people from Bayelsa State, I think, yes, he said, and he gave the River State House of Assembly a floating, that if he chooses to recognize them, they will cease to exist. And he went for that to even say that he has derecognized the River State House of Assembly. And since then, he has carried on with the Okojombo, the Edison here, and then the Okojombo-led faction, right? And now, there is a judgment that has said present 2024 budget to this House of Assembly. So there is no basis. I'm trying to understand the basis where you're bringing in doctrine of necessity.
Now let me come. In the Constitution of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, the issue of particular incidents, it depends on the happenings, the incidences within that particular period. Now, leaving that to say that it must not be on relate to that of Yaradua as at 2010. But there is something here I want to also say before I come to the point I want to make. In 2000, during the governorship era of Chimaroke Naman in Enugu State, there was fracas within the assembly. And I think 6 members of the House were legislating. And he ran with them until the matter was finally resolved. Now, coming to this point, look at the statement of the governor. I want to also believe, because for me, you're a media personnel. Yes. And in this area, in this media profession, you dig deep. You equip yourself, you develop yourself and all that. And in my profession, so when we come to my profession, I guide it. Now, you see that in this case, governor said, he made that statement, we all had him. And many people have come to criticize that. And I will always say that if the governor has said this, there must be something he has seen that we are not seeing. When he said that he gave them a floating, and if he chooses to derecognize them. But look at, I will not agree with the governor on completely on the point that he has right to derecognize anybody, because he didn't vote them. He was voted as much as they were voted. So it is the people's mandate they carry. So it is either the law, the stipulated law, that will derecognize them. But if governor has said that he has power to do that, maybe there may be power hinging somewhere that me and you are not seeing until finally Supreme Court will interpret it for us. But look at from this angle. At that point, when he was saying that these people are no longer there, there was something that happened. Remember, all of them were members. I call it the Wikematic family. They were all there. Both the assembly, those in power and those outside the power and all that. But a time came that they had issue. This fracas ensued. And at some point, they all went to Abuja to broker peace, of which Mr. President wrote 8-point peace agreement and gave to them. And they came back. And one of the things was that you should withdraw your cases from court. All the cases in court should be withdrawn. And the governor went ahead to withdraw the appeal he has made. I mean, his involvement in the case of that Martin Samuel and Co. has filed in the court of Justice Omotosho. Now, he withdrew his own. And these people did not withdraw. You remember that he withdrew. There was this other part of the agreement that he obeyed, and it remained to pass the budget, to represent the budget to them. But looking at their body language, that the people I'm working with seem to be crafty. That is where I got it wrong. Look, Lorenza, we are discussing now. If I ever realizes that inviting me to your station is to have me chained or arrested for something I know nothing about, you will come here. I will never come to this place. Honestly. Because I'm coming here on my own volition. If I discover that you have a plan to hit me, I will run for my life. Because it is only 3 that is told that it will be caught the next day, and the 3 is still standing. So when the governor saw that the people he was dealing with were crafty and they were bent on carrying out their assignment. That was what the governor saw. I'm coming. Let me exhaust my view.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Let me exhaust my view.
Let me remind you of what the governor said. That's negating what you're saying. You recall that when that peace pact, when the governor signed that peace pact and came back to Rivers State and he leaked, in the first instance, there was denial from the governor's camp. After which the governor...
But not from the governor.
Not from... I said the governor's camp. Mark my words. I'm careful when I speak. I'm very careful. I said there was denial from the governor's camp. It happened.
Yes.
I was handling another show and we discussed it at length. There was denial from the governor's camp. After I think 2 days or thereabout, the governor now addressed Rivers people and said that he actually signed it. The governor accepted that he did that. And when he was speaking, he now laid a lot of, of the controversies to rest by saying that he still has the red pen. That is where that statement, red pen, came from. And he said, Rivers people should not worry. That the red pen,
it's still
with him. And he raised, I said, I have the red pen. I still have the red pen. And then at that point, it became, when you greet somebody and you say, I have the red pen. Some people tell you, I don't have the red pen, no. That kind of thing. So that's, to a large extent, is negating what you're saying right now. The governor said he had the red pen. And to a large extent, he went ahead to exercise that power, whether constitutionally or not, when he said, I have the recognized Martin Samihule. And in his actions after that statement, clearly showed that he did recognize that, which brings us to where we are right now.
How can the governor's declaration of having control over red pen negate the fact
what the red pen is symbolic of
authority,
power and authority.
Now
that brings us to where we are right now, doesn't it?
You are trying to preempt or trying to explain into what he meant, but we are trying to look at actions here, not just rhetoric.
What you're saying, when you say the governor saw they were crafty, the governor,
he didn't say
hold
so.
On. That's the point.
But it was an action.
You see, that's the point.
It was an action.
Hold on. That's the point of open conversation. You understand? When you are analyzing issue and you analyze it based on assumption, based on, I think this is what the governor meant. To a large extent, if I tell you substantiate how the governor, when the governor said it, you're assuming the governor thought they were crafty. But the governor never came out to say these people are crafty. The governor said, I have the power to put in checks and balances. Rivers people, do not worry. The red pen is in my hands. It goes along to negate what you're saying, that the governor felt, the governor thought. No.
But
what I am asking you now is, that red pen the governor has, which he told us, actually he wielded that red pen to a large extent. And it has brought us to where we are.
Can I ask you one single question?
You spoke about doctrine of necessity. I've asked you 3 questions and you've not given me clear answers to them.
You will still repeat the questions.
The first one is, I asked you question from the angle of constitutional provision to presentation of appropriation bill.
Yes,
and hold on. And constitutional provision, I stand to gain or profit nothing. However this goes, to be honest, what I am here for is to educate people, and we have conversations around that, and I'll ask you questions. So whether your answer goes one way or the other, I'm indifferent, right? My own is to make sure that, your analysis is in line with the facts on the ground. Do you understand? Regardless of where you belong to. So I asked you the first question. The first question is the constitutional provision of these people to legislate. To legislate. The 3-man assembly, the 3-man faction led by Okojumbo, do they have the powers to legislate for river states with regards to the appropriation bill? That's the first question. Now, when you were answering, you talked about the doctrine of necessity. I now asked you, how is doctrine of necessity applicable in this instance when there are court judgments that has affirmed and told the governor, this is your house of assembly. So whether the governor likes it or not, he is bound by the same law that produced him and empowered him to act as a state governor. He's bound by that law to do what the judgment has said, pending when the Supreme Court gives
a higher court.
A higher court. That's
no.
At this point is the Supreme Court. Hold on. Pending when the Supreme Court gives judgment vacating that and empowering the governor to act with another one, or the Supreme Court vacates the 6 of the 27 lawmakers. That is if the Supreme Court does that, and INEC conducts election, and then the governor can say, now I have a complete house to legislate fully. But how do you bring doctrine of necessity when there is a judgment already on ground ordering you? In fact, in the judgment of Justice Omotosho, what was given to the government in that the governor in that judgment was order of mandamus. That order mandated the governor, because I read the CTC, to submit budget to the House of Assembly. So how do you bring in doctrine of necessity?
Good.
And recall the third question, which was actually the first. When we brought up the Supreme Court precedents, that was when we started talking about judiciary and all that. And I brought up the Supreme Court precedents of Joshua Dariye versus the House of Assembly then, I think in Plateau State, where the court said these people do not form the quorum to even impeach you. To even impeach you.
Now, let me comment.
Answer these three questions.
First, let me pick it from where you said the governor said that he still has the red pen.
Yeah.
The question I wanted to ask was, without governor saying that he still has the red pen, does it in any way negate the fact that the executive authority of Rivers State government still lies with the governor? Does it negate it, whether he said it or not? You say that we should abolish assumption, but you forget that in life, assumption guides. When people say that the president's body language, the governor's body language, this person's body language has not spoken any verbal word, but you look at and you assume, and based on assumption, there is a way you'll be driving on the road, you see that a certain vehicle, the speed with which a certain vehicle is coming into the road, you that is in a right of way, we begin to apply your brake. Why? You assume this person driving might be crazy. This person driving might have lost control. This person driving might be under the influence of alcohol. Assumption guides us. And if you remove assumption from what we do, we begin to behave like, in fact, animals with instinct only and not intelligence. But let us look at it from this angle. You said where the law, the constitution states to us what is the need for doctrine of necessity. I now say, in this case, the constitution of the land.
The constitution says to us. I said when there is already a judgment.
No, when it comes before the judgment, every judgment is hinging on constitution. Now, but look at in the case of Martin Samuel Hule and Rivers State government, something happened. If it were to be that the governor disagreed with these people, I will tell you that I will be one of the first persons that will stand against the governor by trying to make Edison here a speaker. Because as at the point Edison here was made a speaker, he was even suspended by the House. Yes, we know all this. Because the truth is glaring. But we look at things from the point of view that this thing had to be like this, or when it happened like this, this may apply. So you see that as at that point, the suspension that was given to Edison here, to me that time, I cried foul. Because I knew that the suspension that was marshaled out against 4 of them was because they refused to sign the impeachment notice. Though people have come to say it was because of this, it was because of that. Well, it is left for you. But what was revealed to us as at then was what we run with. There are things that is in the media and there are things that people keep at home. So, but when it comes to this issue, you see that they had this face-off. This one say we will impeach him. This one say we will not impeach him. And these ones, as they were preparing for the impeachment notice, there was a bomb blast, which those ones, we are not coming to discuss them. We are discussing the budget. So now, after that bomb blast, these other people started pushing forward. And then before you know it, which I will still bring the person you don't like us in this place, because we can't survive without him.
Don't say those things.
No,
hold on.
No, I'm not going contrary to this.
Hold on, don't be preemptive. When you say you don't like me discussing a certain person or a certain
when
thing,
I talk about God now, you always oppose it.
No, the thing is, when you say I always oppose it, is this. I know you're a clergyman, and I respect that actually. I don't have a problem with that. However, when we bring, like I've always told you, the sanctity and the holiness of God into the dirty politics being played in Nigeria. Politics where the people okay, let me even ask, let me use the Bible that you carry and you preach from. Let's go to the Bible, since you want us to
with you.
The Bible says, I respect those in authority. That's what the Bible says, I am sure. The Bible have always preached peace and always preached that people should respect authorities that are put in place. In this instance, the governor that you're quoting now, that whenever you're talking about the governor, you bring God into the picture. The governor is a Christian, and the Bible that you carry, that he carries and reads from, is saying respect authority. Yes, while the governor seeks to be respected and honored as the governor of Rivers State, there is also an authority as well. That is the judiciary. And the governor in this instance is acting contrary to judgment of court. And you're bringing God into the picture to say it is the hand of God. You see, this is why I don't want to talk about where I belong to, whether I'm a Christian or not a Christian.
Do you know I don't like it when you don't allow me to laugh? You always hang me somewhere.
No, I am hanging you. I'm hanging
you
right now because it would have made a lot of sense if you just went ahead to say what you wanted to say, but you wanted to take a swipe at me first of all. No, hold on. And you know it will not work. You wanted to take a swipe at me by saying, Laurentia, I'm going to bring in the person you don't want me to bring. That is, you're painting me to be biased. And when you do that,
your ground is very clear.
When you do that, I will uphold, because if you're saying I'm biased, you're saying ATN is biased. No, you need to understand the implications of the things.
Let me come now.
It is my responsibility to uphold the integrity of Atlantic Television Network, and this is what I say. So when you bring in God, I always tell you, do you really want to bring in God into this? I think to a large extent we should give God that honor. Why bring God into this when even the rich man and Lazarus, he told the rich man, there are prophets, why didn't you listen to the prophets when there is a Bible that is instructing the governor and is instructing you to obey authority? And you have said on my show severally, you will not respect authority. Yeah. Let me remind you. Let me remind you.
Let me cut you here.
After that, you go ahead.
You are taking a very strong swipe on me now.
Really?
Saying in national television that I will not obey call.
Yes, so
no.
You said I will give you 2 instances you did that. The last time you were on my show, you insisted that they were ex-House of Assembly, they were ex-lawmakers. I said no court said that. You said that is what you believe. That's what the governor believes. That's what you're standing. By that instance, you are in contempt of that judgment, and by that instance, you have disrespected the sanctity of the judiciary. And I recall at that time when you said when the law does not align with the wishes of the masses, it can be set aside.
Yes,
These are
and I still stand strongly on that. But this other one, the first one you mentioned,
and after standing on that, you're still bringing God when you're clearly in disobedience of the Bible.
Wait, let me come. You quoted the scripture.
You have the floor.
Thank you. I know your tricks, but we are managing it. However, look, you said, why should I bring God into the dirty waters of Nigerian politics? Are you aware that I'm a Nigerian? Are you aware that my fathers, my ancestors, maternal, paternal, are Nigerians? Are you aware that I cannot go to live in any other nation any other country except Nigeria? So when you talk as if God cannot come into the marshy waters, dirty waters of Nigerian politics and all that, you recall that God met Abraham and told Abraham, I'm going to Sodom. Nigeria is not yet as corrupt as Sodom, but God said, I'm going there to see things for myself. And when he got to Sodom, he was met with people in Sodom, but he saw a righteous man in Sodom So I am such in Nigeria that even though everybody believes that everybody in Nigeria is corrupt, there are still few of us who are not corrupt.
But you're advocating that the law should be kept
Now,
aside.
now that is to clear.
You're advocating. The righteous man in you is advocating anarchy.
No.
That's what you're advocating.
You are putting it
you're
on me.
You're advocating a state of lawlessness.
And you know you are good at that, putting it on me.
I'm putting it to you right
but
now.
I'm avoiding it. I will dodge it. But let us look at it from this angle. We are talking about the judgment of court and the governor disobeying authority. Look, I told you there could be things governor is seeing that we are not seeing. And until Supreme Court comes to state otherwise. Now, in the judgment of Justice Omotosho, some of us cried foul. We cried, we said, this man, there are things he was not seeing. I told you that as at that time, Omotosho was blind to the fact that these guys were no longer members, stated by Edison here. That was then, until a court said they are. Now, you see that if we begin to follow the trajectory, we came to a point where it was revealed that even the judge that gave that judgment has been in the receiver, if I would say, have been a receiver of goodwill from those who were pushing that judgment. So if
that's
it is
an allegation.
No, if it is an allegation,
Can you substantiate
it is allegation,
can you substantiate that?
No, I'm not. This is the information that came to us.
If that's an information you can't substantiate, don't say it here.
No.
Do you know what you're
It is
doing?
everywhere in Nigeria,
No,
both in the television, in the print media, in social media. It is in all the electronic media.
You are speaking authoritatively as if you're an eyewitness to that.
No, I'm not an eyewitness. I'm telling you, because even the judgment, I was not there in the court.
Can you substantiate that?
I wasn't there in the court.
So you're making a statement you cannot substantiate.
Why? There are almost everything.
You just accused a judge of bribery.
Yes, now.
Can you substantiate that?
It was said he has not come to say that he did not receive that gift.
What they said.
The judge has not come to say that he has not received the gift.
Listen, what they said, where they said it, for me, is inconsequential. And that is why, you see, the difference between mainstream media and social media is you can peddle rumors.
But this is not in social media now. You should know now.
Hold on. Hold on. You can peddle rumors, lies. You can twist, perspectives on social media. But you see, on mainstream media, we are regulated, we are strict, and ATM bases itself, we boast of integrity and in-depth analysis. So you cannot borrow a leaf from social media and bring it in. No, I have asked you. You have accused.
Should I bring the channels that have? The radio stations.
Like I said, it's inconsequential to me. Unless you are a party to that. Now, since you're not a party to that, and on my show, on Open Conversation, you have accused a judge
Justice Omotosho, isn't
bribery.
It?
Hold on.
Isn't it?
You have accused a judge of bribery, and now you're even calling the name of the judge.
I said Justice Omotosho. We have been mentioning his name here, and we have seen all things he has been doing.
Don't get ahead of yourself. You are accusing Justice Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja of bribery.
If it is not true, let him come and prove to us.
Can you substantiate that?
I'm not the briber. I'm not the giver. I'm not the receiver.
This is how Nigerian constitution works. You see, that's why I say be careful.
No,
you cannot say, hold on, you cannot say if he has not received bribe, let him come and prove.
He should come and tell us.
No. The way it works in Nigeria,
let him go to court.
No.
Let him sue the people who accused him.
Hold on, Nze. The way it works is that, see, the burden of proof lies on the accuser. And when you come out, and even the Bible, because now you have brought in your clergy personality and the Bible in, even the Bible that you carry and you preach from on the pulpit, says, thou shalt not bear false accusation, thou shalt not bear false witness against your brother. In this instance, Nze, you have not been party to it, you did not witness it, you cannot bring evidence, you cannot substantiate it.
The words you are using are completely irrelevant, because for you to say that I cannot bring evidence, I cannot substantiate.
What you're telling me is what people have said.
Hold on, I'm coming. You say I cannot. Remember the word cannot.
You cannot.
I cannot substantiate.
Yes.
I cannot prove.
Yes.
I cannot bring evidence.
Yes.
what is left for you as a journalist is, on hearing this, you launch into investigative journalism.
That is why I'm investigating you right now.
You can't investigate me.
You made the allegation.
You will investigate the allegation.
You made the allegation.
You will investigate the allegation.
And I am asking you to bring proof of that
I understand the angle where you are coming from.
Can you bring proof of it? What you're telling me now, you're basing your proof.
My proof.
You're basing your proof on what was said on social media and what was said according to you on electronic media. You're basing your proof on
electronic media, which is the mainstream media.
Oh, you're basing your proof.
Of this
you're basing your
Nigeria.
proof on mercy.
Nothing like mercy. Hold on. Let me come. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Speak, my issue is
1 minute.
When you speak,
can you give me 1 minute?
I need you to bring proof. Now, let me ask you a question before you go on with your 20 minutes. Nze, your proof of what they said on social media, your proof of what they said, telling me it's on electronic media, it's on social media, is it admissible in court? Is it an admissible evidence?
Can I now respond to you?
Go ahead.
Everything we discussed, because when you are talking of proof and eyewitness, remember there was something that happened here. We were in this place and the police tiptoed, I keep on using the same word I used then, tiptoed into Risiek to cut away with election materials. And when the governor intercepted them, we were discussing it. Remember the question you asked me, if I was there, you needed eyewitness. I was not an eyewitness, and we stood on that point, and finally it was a truth because it happened. Police never came to say they didn't go. Now, if you cannot go to that place to verify these things and it is substantiated in the mainstream media, then the same thing happened with it, because these people, they mentioned the plot number, they mentioned the position of the property and all that. So, but however, it shouldn't take all our time. The truth is this: we are still looking at the stand of the man who gave the judgment, because I have always said that judges are fallible as every other human. They are not perfect beings.
In as much as we are,
and they can be biased,
and they can be biased. In as much as the fact that we are running out of time for this particular conversation, you have done an excellent job of being on a rigmarole and not, taking the bull by the horn.
You like it when you twist my head in that way, and when it happens like that, you rejoice.
You have actually not.
We must rigmarole when it comes to issues of Nigeria. Do you know why?
You have not answered any of my questions.
I've answered every of your questions. You are the examiner. I am the sitting in the exam. So I will write what I will write. You have right to mark it. But the truth is this, like in the university, it's done in the university. Hold on, as it is in the university, after you have finished your mark and I look at it and I think that you didn't do me well, I have right to go to the Senate and present my papers. So the Senate in this case now is the viewers, the Nigerians who are watching, in fact the whole world who are watching, because most of my people in the UK and other, they used to call, I say, you were in television today. I say, why are you people monitoring? Are you monitoring Lizard? Each time they call, you say this, they will be calling me and say, you did well here, you didn't do well here. I say, I must not do well in everything. Not even God can do well. In fact, not even God can satisfy man. However, that I did not satisfy you in my rigmarole according to you, we must dance rigmarole in the cases of Nigerian politics, because Nigerian politics is not straight. If it is straight, we follow it straight.
I think to a large extent, one would say the issue of Rivers State is a straight matter.
It is not straight at all.
However,
not straight. Let me come. Do you know why Rivers case is not straight? There are two factors here. Father and son. The father says the son wants to take over the property. I think
we are beyond the...
Now I'm coming.
I think we are past the father and son
Not
thing.
At all. That is still what is still happening.
Hold on. I think we are past the father and son thing, because both factions have refused political solution. So when you bring in the father-son thing is when we are looking at the possibility of a political solution. However, we are past that in Rivers State crisis, where even though some people are still hopeful that there might be political solution.
I'm one of the persons that knows that if truly the gladiators will accept to down weapons, political solution is the best. But I'm afraid.
See it happening?
I am afraid now. I was in a certain radio station when people were calling. The question was thrown: do we envisage this battle coming to an end? And I said in that radio station, no. The reason is because of the angle it is coming from. And I also see that God is involved in it. But when people began to call, because it was audience participatory, they said, when people began to call, many of them, especially the civil servants, say, may God not allow the crisis to end. Because the crisis, the region of the crisis, is giving them, is like when two monkeys are fighting on the mango tree. So they will be pushing mango down, and people down there will be picking it. So the civil servants and the rest of the rivers people are enjoying that because of this political trouble.
Hold on. Now, to a large extent, to all intents and purposes, one would say the father-son thing cannot be realistic at this point, because it appears to a large extent that all parties are now waiting for
what court will say,
the ultimate game changer from Supreme Court. Right. Now, there is a court judgment. That still brings us back to the court judgment. That has already told the governor do this. I mean, back to back, both from the and from the appeal court. And the governor has gone ahead.
Governor said, I'm not comfortable with your judgment.
Hold on.
And if there is a window, I'm exploiting.
Hold on. And the governor has gone ahead to do his bidding.
Not his bidding,
now,
exercising his rights.
The
governor is exercising his rights.
We have looked at this right. Why it is the right of the, or a prerequisite for governance, that governors present budgets to House of Assembly. We have looked at the makeup of this House of Assembly. Are they constitutional? Can a 3-man House of Assembly legislate for an entire state? Can a 3-man House of Assembly pass a budget of a state? And I have taken you to the Constitution. What the Constitution says, what the minimum can be of a state House of Assembly. 24 against 3. Against 3. You have not answered that. What you told me is, hold on. What you said that the governor
they employed the doctrine of necessity.
Rather, you said the governor employed the doctrine of necessity. Even the doctrine of even constitution, the doctrine of necessity that is in the Constitution, even doctrine of necessity is given life by a court. Even doctrine of necessity. Let me explain these things to you. That's why you're talking, I'm just smiling. Even the doctrine of necessity, if it is to be employed, has to be given life by the judiciary. Was it employed in this instance?
Yes.
Were you there?
Justice Wale, hold on. Justice Wale, that even though that the Federal High Court came to nullify the activities of Justice Wale, but look at, there is something we need to understand here. Permit me 1 minute.
You said the governor, no. You don't take us back to Justice Wale, because an appeal court has nullified that.
And the governor said, I'm not comfortable with this. Let's go further.
What I am saying now is this. You said that, I am going by your words, so you said that the governor invoked the doctrine of necessity to present the budget to a 3-man House of Assembly. I'm asking you, even the Nigerian Constitution is given life by the pronouncement of the courts. So can you tell me which courts gave this doctrine of necessity life that the governor invoked? How did the governor invoke?
How will you ask?
How did the governor invoke the court?
No, when I said governor,
doctrine of
when
necessity.
I say governor invoked, remember, governor does not have a certain power.
How did he?
He derives such power from the judiciary. And when you said that it is court that gives life to doctrine of necessity, I told you that
I said to the Constitution. And I now
whether Constitution or anything that applies to the Constitution.
And I now asked you, in the instance of doctrine of necessity, which you say, is saying that the governor invoked. How did the governor invoke it? I am curious to know, and I am sure Nigerians are curious to know. How did the governor invoke the doctrine of necessity? When you ask
rhetoric questions,
it's not rhetorical.
Hold on. When you ask rhetoric questions, just wait to see a rhetoric answer.
This is not rhetorical. Unless you're
Do you know-
saying,
you say-
unless
you're
unless
asking me
unless you
how?
just spoke from
No, you're
a
asking me-
place of assumption.
Which
you
assumption?
You assumed,
No.
You assumed the doc,
We
the
are
doc-
discussing issues.
Are you assuming that the governor invoked the doctrine of necessity?
That's what yes, that's what I believe.
So you assume
That is what I believe.
Not that the governor
And
did
when
it.
yes, that's what I
Okay.
believe. And when you said that, the court had to give it life, I now told you that River State High Court gave it life. And when the Federal High Court came to say
right,
no,
very well.
that they nullify what River State High Court did, the governor said, "I'm not comfortable.
which
I will
River
go
State
further."
High Court gave life to the doctrine of necessity?
You know. You
I
are
don't
simply
know.
you are
If
simply
I
you
know,
are
I won't
simply
be asking.
you are simply being unnecessarily
Then last time I
curious.
checked, Justice Wale vacated the seats of the 27 lawmakers and also declared
Authenticated
that
the seat of
Oko
86.
Jumbo is the legitimate speaker, and an appeal court vacated everything that Justice Wale has done and nullified all the actions of Oko Jumbo.
Yes.
Now, this is a different, hold on. This is a different matter now.
How
And
is it
hold
different?
on,
Make it make
hold
sense
on.
to me.
It's a different matter now of not the 2024 budget, but the presentation of the 2025 budget. And you are saying that in as much as the fact that the three-man House of Assembly, they are unconstitutionally constituted to legislate over the appropriation bill, the governor, however, had to invoke the doctrine of necessity.
As given life by the court.
Which
As
court
given
gave it life?
I said the River State High Court by Justice Wale.
When was that?
Let me come.
When was
Hold on.
that?
Look, you don't ask me questions about dates and time. That's not my field.
Okay.
I'm a preacher. If you ask me where a statement is made in the Bible, I will tell you the chapter, the book, the chapter, and the verse. But let us look at it from this angle. There was this judgment. But before we run, there was this judgment, and this judgment stated thus, and there was an appeal, and the appeal overturned the judgment, and this other fellow said, no, I'm not comfortable with what appeal court has said. I am appealing to a higher court. And it is on that basis they are still holding on what this other party said. I am holding to what the first court has said. And this other party say, I'm holding over. So you have your side to stay. But the truth is that it is what started December 2023 that is still running now. And it is on that premise that the governor had presented 2025 budget.
We are out of time. I would have
Why not the extend time for us?
You're very happy that this has come to an end, but then it is good that we wrap it up on this note. You said that the governor invoked the doctrine of necessity.
That's what I feel.
Hold on. To present the 2025 budget, but you are uncertain which court. Okay, you said it was Justice Wale that gave the order, that invoked the order of necessity for the governor to present the 2025 budget to a three-man House of Assembly. And on further questioning, you said that you're also assuming that the governor actually invoked the order of necessity, not that you're sure. So we are actually ending this episode on this controversy. Thank you so much, Nze, for coming on Open Conversation. It's always a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Lorenza. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, Rivers people. God is with us. 2025 will be more prosperous.
Of course,
but however,
we are out of time.
In my closing words,
no, we are out of time.
It's all right. It's all right. Thank you very much.
We wrap it up on this episode. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials: Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network; Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1; and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ugu. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
As always said, there are two types of people: the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.